Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. A couple of nights ago, we took a look at an interesting Jimmy Wallace model Les Paul, and a viewer of the show recently went to a guitar show called Guitarlington in Texas, and he saw that guitar live in the flesh, and he took some additional photos. And he shared a bunch of other interesting guitars from that show, so I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at these today. So here it is, the Jimmy Wallace in the flesh. It looks like they were selling it for $7,500 on the table. So about the same price that they're asking on Reverb. And oh man, I didn't even realize it's being sold by the original dealer, Jimmy Wallace. But you can definitely tell this thing has a very cool appearance. Like, this looking down view upon it's probably not its most attractive angle, but you can really tell how cool a top is going to be is if at its worst angle, it looks like this. Still phenomenal, right? But it looks like we have the typical lacquer checking lines along each fret. You've got the thin binding in the cutaway, pretty good condition overall from what we can see here, and it's definitely been shined and polished up. But what else was sitting beside it? Looks like 2014 True Historic. Wow, for considerably more money. The True Historic thing was very shortly lived. I wonder if those will become future collectibles simply because they don't use that branding and they didn't use it very long. About a year or so ago, we documented some True Historic prototypes. I remember really liking this Lemon Burst. Like, that is just fantastic. One of those guitars, yeah, probably should have kept that one around, but whatever. I know it went to a good home. Then over here, another reissue from 2017 with a nice top. And hey, here's some more Jimmy Wallace guitars. So he actually makes his own brand of Les Paul. So you've got like a junior mixed with the special here with kind of the new headstock. I kind of like this bullion gold finished one with the P90s. And more Doubleneck Fenders. You must just have those out for attention because people will stop and look at those. Oh, that's sweet. An Esquire mixed with a Stratocaster and then a regular Telecaster with a Strat. What neck do you guys prefer? The lighter kind of yellowed ones or the darker ambered over one? I'd probably go with this. But hold the phone. This is a Fender custom shop, but this is not. It's his own Jimmy Wallace brand. He even does Fender styled ones with gold foil pickups. But what is going on with that thing back there? I like it. I've never seen that done before. That guitar, that bass guitar, it looks like it might also be Jimmy Wallace brand, takes tradition and just says goodbye, throws it out the window. So generally your P-bass style pickup goes in the bridge. And you don't have 3 pickups in a bass. Well, this one, they've got the jazz bass in the bridge and the neck position, and then the B bass. And I like it. It's goofy. It's something original. And I think that's what guitar makers should do. Be themselves. But now let's take a look at his folder that he called Weird Stuff. Okay, so it's one of those double neck Fenders. You don't see these things too often. Maybe it's just because I never realized these things were a thing until about a year ago. It just seems like I've been seeing lots and lots more of these things pop up. So maybe they did one and then a bunch of other people wanted these custom ordered. I've got to say, I think this is the first like antique natural one I've ever seen with matching headstocks. If we zoom in here, oh man, they even took the time to put it looks like an Abalone Fender logo on these inlaid into the headstock. That's not something Fender does too often. That really makes this one special. Oh man, no wonder they left it natural. It's a Korina 1960 double neck Strat. That's crazy. For some reason, I thought it was a Stratocaster mixed with like a Jazzmaster. It almost looked like that with this covering it over. They've got that big old toggle switch right here that you don't normally have. Interesting. You think that would kind of get in your way playing it though. Here we've got an original Electric 12 from Fender. Looks like they're wanting about 10 grand for it. It's an Olympic white. Here we've got a vintage white Stratocaster. Oh man, I love the way that pickguard looks. A couple of other sparkly Strats. Here we have a booth for VintageGuitarBuyers.com. Yeah, you guys see what they did with this? They took the old Gibson string boxes and then just changed everything up to make it their own. So it looks like a 58 Strat, a 1970. Gotta say, definitely prefer the 2-tone Sunburst over the 3-tone personally. Then a 64, 65, 65, 66, and it looks like another 66. If I had to choose just one out of all of those, I really think this is the best looking one. And it's not even the most expensive. $25,000 versus almost $30,000 on that. But in the back looks like we have some sort of a tele-custom with the multi-bindings. Over here we got a couple of vintage SGs. Looks like it says 1964, so that would be one of the earlier years for this style of vibrola. They've got the uncovered pickup down there. Then right next to it, you have the other iteration of the SG with the batwing style. I know these are the older style that people generally go towards, but something about the full batwing pickguard looks cool when they've got the vibrola. So if you happen to be in the same camp as me, these ones are actually a little bit cheaper. Cheaper in quotation marks though. And oh, sweet, a 1978 Gold Top Deluxe. Whoa, geez, $6,500. I hope that thing is like near mint condition. Then it would about make sense. But I have people giving me a hard time about asking $5,000 for that really clean natural Deluxe. And I only have that price that high because I would rather keep it than sell it. Because I'd like to have a complete collection of all the Deluxe colors one day. And it looks like this guy is hiding an Explorer down his pants. He's going to try to steal it. But what else can we decipher from here? It looks like some sort of a reissue, maybe a classic back there, and a couple of nice Gretches. 1975 White Falcon. I've done the White Penguins, but we have not conquered the Falcons yet. I do like Gretsch guitars. They have interesting histories, especially the guitars with the painted on F-holes versus the real ones that like you can see over here. And they've got sweet colors, like that all white looks classy, but then you've got that like walnut natural look there. Next up here, ooh, Ace Frehley Les Paul Custom. Oh wait, no, it's a Greco. Man, this is just a table full of fakes. I've never seen the Greco White Penguin. Oh man, I love that. That is so cool. As somebody who isn't like a big diehard Gretsch fan, that doesn't offend me because, you know, it's within that lawsuit era, as people call it. Or you can just say the copycat era, where to me, this looks good enough, it can fool me. Like even this Les Paul, I'm a Les Paul fanatic, right? From far away, that 100% looks the part. It was also made in 1979, $1,500. As long as it's a set neck, that's probably a really well-crafted instrument. But I gotta see if I can find this thing. Yes, here it is. I never knew this was the thing. This isn't the exact same one, but this one wants $4,000. I mean, at that point, I think you'd be better off just buying one of the newer reissues, maybe? It's hard to say. If it's commanding this much money, though, they must be pretty good. It's just the stupid E here with the very large cross on top of it to make it look like the Gretsch logo, as you can see over here. It's just those little quirky details that make me like this thing. But as compared to $4,000 for the mint one versus this one at $2,250, I'm sure you could have took it home for $2,000. And it looks like everything else is legitimate. Yeah, we got a couple of Dan Electros here. Peanut-shaped guitars here. Rickenbacker in the back. Then a sweet 1960. Whoa, that's rare. So late 60s Flying Vs, if you can even find one. Like, if you want to buy one today, you can't always. So here we did a search for Gibson Flying V. Now we'll say we want the 60s ones only. Okay, sure enough, there actually is one for sale today. I mean, there's this one that's the Korina style. He's asking a lot for it. I don't want to talk about that one. But generally, these late 60s ones, they don't show up too often. And when they do, if they're good, clean shape, all original, they sell fast. I mean, that's when Gibson first brought back the Flying V. Oh man, it's got a goof hider on the back. I'm not sure if that's factory stock. I have seen them before, but I always imagined they drilled it in the wrong location. They had to move it, and that's why they have that on there. And this one looks like it comes in two cases. One that's protective, one that's original. That appears to be in good shape. They want $50,000. It makes this $35,000 one seem kind of affordable. Looks like this one does have some wear, but it's got the original covers on it and everything. That's a pretty nice looking one. But, oh, what? Oh, okay. I thought that was a mini toggle switch added onto the lower bout right there. No, that's just the guitar stand. I guess if you're going to buy an expensive guitar and you want to see it in person, these big guitar shows are probably where you want to go. Even if it's going to cost you $800 to fly down, have a hotel stay. I mean, at least you can see it all in person. And as I've been showing you, some of these guitars you just don't find online. And I'm sure you can haggle them down pretty well, because these are still like their listing prices on their websites and Reverb, so you can easily at least get 5% off, if not more, especially if you're paying cash. Next up here, we've got some interesting guitars. A Naked Lady Renaissance style painting done up by Schecter. I think that guitar would be fun to play, like just with a single humbucker. It looks like a very basic Stratocaster bridge. I could see that falling in place for somebody's artsy guitar collection, but hey, take a look at this pointy pink Jackson. I like that pickguard just being right there. And then it just cuts off, like we can't see the rest of it. It looks like it's missing all the strings in the Floyd system or whatever was in it. And some interesting wood grain right there. I'm not familiar with this brand, Mosser. Looks like they've done a Dick Tracy tribute to it. I like the way that they captured his face on the pickup. Imagine somebody takes that pickup out and sells it separately. There would be some very confused people on the used market. But hey, this Flying V's not too bad. Kind of reminds me of one of those Travis Bean guitars, except for this time it's clear acrylic plastic and in Flying V format, and kind of a cool rosewood-esque pickguard. Like, this looks so sleek, majestic, and modern, but is still based in the 70s with that. I really dig that. That's a cool guitar. Now this S-type guitar, every single fret appears to have been scalloped. If you don't know what scalloping is, check out this Flying V. Basically, they just scoop out the fretboard on you. It definitely makes playing different. But what I like about this is it's got a really nice sunburst to it, with a nice flame top, the same style of burst knobs, and the pickup has no pull pieces on it at all. That's just a really nice look. And then you get to the headstock, kind of ruins it a bit for me. I was kind of hoping we would have something cooler than that. I can't quite make out the brand. And I can't say I'm a big fan of this bass, but you know, the artwork's okay. Not something I would buy, but hey, take a look at this. Like, you can tell just by looking at it, it's from like the late 70s, early 80s. Not a Gibson at all, but it's got that really big, thick Ibanez-like style bridge, all made out of brass. And then you go up here and, oh, Hondo? Wow, I would have never guessed Hondo would make something like that. That almost looks like it's a set neck too. If that's a set neck Hondo, that's really cool. I wish this one had a big sign on it to tell me what it is, because that's something I would want to look up and learn more about. Like, I've documented some Hondos before, but they've just been this kind of junky acoustic and a really pointy guitar within the Trade Tuesday series. I'd really like to learn more. It looks like maybe Dakota's something guitar, Tempe, Arizona. The only thing I could find on him was a Facebook page. Looks like we can see he's been bringing that Flying V to shows for a couple of years. Ooh, sweet Camo Explorer back here. But scrolling through the page here, I can't find that exact thing I was looking for. But I did find this, which looks like a time lapse of reverse taking this guitar apart or something. So yeah, if anybody has more information on that particular one, I'd like to know more about it. It's like a souped up Les Paul standard meets studio type vibes. Next up here, what do we got? Looks like some sort of a Yamaha guitar. I've definitely seen that before. It's like that swooped cutaway. Kind of reminds me of the Ibanez style. Really large, ridiculously large humbucker right here. That's what it looks like anyways. Like two single coils that are wired together. But man, all brass and blinged out from the 60s? That was before its time. We've got a Silver Burst L6S for a ridiculous sum. No. Okay, maybe if it was absolute mint condition, maybe, just maybe, the very, very, very right collector might pay that much. But generally, I would say $2,000 is even pushing it. The L6S guitars, I mean, in today's market, they have been fetching $1,100 to $1,500, a lot more than what I used to buy them at. It used to be $600 to $1,000, but that was, what, 6-7 years ago. But yeah, that is not a sane price in the slightest. Then it looks like we've got a Mustang over here. Looks pretty nice. Is that a sparkle finish? Then a matching Mustang bass. That actually doesn't look half bad. And oh man, wouldn't you know it, here they are. So I can tell you this is Eric Ernest's table at Abalone Vintage because he has these on Reverb. I was talking to him a couple of days ago via text, and I told him it'd be fun to do a dedicated upload on one of these. And he took that as, hey, he should bring these guitars to me one day and we should have fun with them. It's like, yeah, that would be fun, but I was just talking like photos and videos, make a little dedicated thing to it. But if you want to do that, yeah, by all means. Man, that one even has some original case candy for it. So these are EMS style guitars. So it's electric guitar, 6-string mixed with mandolins. I mean, except for this one, it's a double mandolin, but they're just kind of quirky and weird. I can't play mandolin, but it would be fun to document these guitars in a video format so everybody could see them. But that is good to know that these things have been out in the wild and people have been looking at them at guitar shows. Definitely makes you stop and go, what is that? If I remember correctly, most of these are around $100,000 plus or minus $50,000 depending on the model and the condition. You can check them out on Reverb. And ooh, next, some interesting stuff. So that is a Les Paul Supreme Gold top. It's not the 90th birthday model because it would have the 90th anniversary inlay on it. Even though Supremes are known for all the figured tops and they're supposed to have the figured back, I don't believe the gold tops do. They just leave it as mahogany and they've covered up the maple top. So it kind of destroys what a Supreme is in my eyes. So I don't necessarily like them in that aspect, but I do like them at the same time because they're something different. Speaking of something different, we have no-name weird guitar over here with Abalone inlays. It's Les Paul shaped, but it's definitely not a Les Paul. Man, it almost looks smaller. Is it a travel-sized guitar, or is that just a strange distortion in the photo? Like, it does seem to be a little bit further up than that guitar, and it sits down farther. And then we've got this thing over here. I would guess it's a late 80s, early 90s Les Paul standard, judging by the headstock. Oh man, somebody had one of the Hello Kitty Stratocasters. You know, I feel like the internet is ready for another review and demo of that guitar. But a lot of people that are new to guitars and YouTube world and everything, they might not have ever seen one. I just think they're kind of cool. You know, they've reached cult status at this point. They might have been super cheap when they first came out, but they're expensive now. Let's see, how much do they want for theirs? $750. Maybe if it was complete in box, never open, mint condition, maybe. But well, I mean, a lot of people are listing them for that much. I mean, 700's a deal compared to most of these. Will that be the next 1959 Les Paul standard? Now that is a nice guitar. Looks like a late 60s 335 to me. Let's see what our tag says. 1962 for $18,500. Yep, that's expensive. I don't really know my 335s that well. I just saw that big headstock and it reminded me of the late 60s SGs. That's a pretty nice Les Paul here and a couple of acoustics. And we've got some art guitars here for Dale Evans, Queen of the West, the King of the Cowboys down here. And then we've got another red one here. Please do not handle these guitars. Not without permission anyways, but I feel like if you're going to handle a guitar at a guitar show, you should be asking about it anyways. That's just the way I feel. Like, the inlay work is impressive. I mean, sometimes these don't always look the best, which some of these faces are a little bit scary. But I'd say as far as the artwork on the guitar, it looks pretty nice. I like the way that they have the wagon wheels on the bridge. But I'd say the one that pulls off the look best, probably this one. The only thing that would have made it better for me personally is if they would have did a trans pink color and just had some nice wood grain, not necessarily like flamed figuring or anything, just some good wood grain. But if you're gonna do one of the fancy guitars in a solid color, I think white pulls it off the best. And hey, they even did the backside of these. Oh man, they even have a thin line Telecaster. Next up, looks like we've got an Ovation guitar with 3 single coils, one of those Maserati Adventures. That looks pretty sweet. And then G&L weird mini Telecaster with a Kahler system. Okay. And a little further over to the left, of course, you get your Paisley Tellies. Is that a real one? I'd like to document a real one day, but these look like reissues to me. Oh, what is that? Did it leave the factory with that strange pickguard? I doubt it, but who knows? Maybe it did. So this is definitely in the late 70s, because you don't have the cool mother of pearl Gibson logos, unfortunately. Are we sure it's even Gibson? Because it's another Jimmy Wallace guitar. Is he throwing us for a loop? 1974, 75. It almost looks like it says break room with EMGs. $12,000. Okay, so are they not the original pickups? That's kind of cool. I mean, most of these in this time period were custom orders anyway, so it's not that out of the ordinary to have a custom guard. That's kind of cool. A collector's piece for sure. And ooh, that's one of the 1972 54 Les Paul custom reissues. Looks like somebody might have swapped out our tuners. Let's see, what's his price tag on that? $7.5. That's not that bad of a price for one of those. I mean, these are some of the most expensive Norland era guitars. The 58 gold top reissue and the Les Paul Custom here. I mean, there's a lot of lore surrounding these that they were just made out of new old stock parts. And who knows what this one is. It could be an 80s one or just a modern one, but it looks like he's got a couple of other cool stuff there. This Jimmy Wallace guy sure does know how to put on a show. Oh, nice! Somebody even had the Gretsch Americana series. So, I bought one of these on Craigslist one time. It was a complete set. I actually have a really old video. Like, it's not even worth watching, but it's here if you want it. When I had sold those, I think I ended up shipping them out of the country. So I kind of have a soft spot for these things, not because they were good guitars or necessarily that I found them all that attractive. It was just, kind of an interesting thing back when I was just dealing in guitars. More of a cheap collector's model. And they're pretty rare to find on the market yet today. But yeah, that was a long time ago. And these are probably worth about $1,000 now as a complete set. But that looks like all the photos that he took. So troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, taking a look at the Guitarlington guitars. If you went to the show and you saw something that you thought would be worth my time taking a look at, feel free to email them to me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.